Alright everyone, my name is Shanae Jones and this is KNKY, which stands for Know the New Kinky You. We are wrapping up this series of IGTV videos, which I believe may be posted to YouTube. I'm not sure yet. But we've talked about the vulva, the pussy. We've talked about the penis. I did not use the word dick, but because there's so many words that you can use for the penis. We are wrapping this conversation up talking about the anus. So, although not as widely popular as vaginal and oral sex, anal sex is something that can actually be quite pleasurable, right? According to the CDC, anal sex is mostly popular with couples under 45. I don't know that I agree with that, but couples under 45 become over 45, so at some point anal sex will become something that is less taboo than what it has been in the past, and maybe what it still slightly currently is. I know there's a lot of internet focus and porn focus on anal sex, but I don't have a lot of statistics on how it is that it happens in day-to-day relationships. But according to the CDC, 36% of women and 44% of men have had anal sex with a partner of the opposite sex. And anal sex is not just about a penis being inserted into a vagina. No. Anal sex is just like any other sex. You can use your fingers and you can use your mouth. And actually, oral sex to the anus is called analingus, like so, cunnilingus, fellatio, analingus. There are certain things that you can use that are not human at all. You can use a sex toy, a vibrator, a dildo, or butt plug. Butt plugs are very interesting, and I had a very interesting topic conversation because a very good friend of mine didn't know what a butt plug was, so we had to talk about it. Anal sex requires a lot of thought and communication and planning, though, especially if it's something you haven't done before. It's something that you guys kind of need to work through. So if you're interested in having anal sex, just talk to your partner, bring it up and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, I saw this and I am interested in trying it. You have to introduce it to you have to introduce the conversation. You have to be able to talk about it. So you have to make sure it's something you both want to do, because again, you don't want a situation where he wants it, she doesn't, and he's trying to stick his penis into her anus and she's like, whoa, what are you doing? No, you don't want that. That's not the conversation that you want to have. So you want to make sure that, and again, I've been using my visual aids for these series, so here's a visual aid for us to talk about. So there is a bit of a difference between the anal view of the male versus the female, right? And the biggest one that I want to talk about is the prostate, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but just take a good look at this. We have our female anatomy, we have our male anatomy, we have some commonality, and we have some very distinct things that are different between us, right? So the male and female makeup, not the same. All right, so first thing that you need to understand is that the anus is not like the vagina. The anus is not self-lubricating. So when you are thinking about having anal sex, you need a lot of lubricant. So, and this is not to promote any particular brand, but Uberlube is another one. But Swiss Navy, what I wanted to kind of point out though is that, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's a silicone lubricant. Now this particular brand also makes water-based lubricant, but based on my research, the silicone works better for anal sex, and the water-based works better for vaginal sex. So just, it's whatever makes you comfortable, but keep in mind that the anus isn't self-lubricating. So in order for it to be comfortable, in order for it to not be painful, you need lubricant. So be liberal. Be liberal with it. Just make sure that you are putting yourself in a position where you are not going to be hurt. Because penetration without lubricant or sufficient lubricant can tear the tissue around and inside the anus. So it can cause pain, it can cause bleeding, and because the skin on the inside of the anus is a little bit more delicate, it can be prone to tearing. It's much easier to pass infections, viruses, and bacteria between partners because of this tearing. So even if you don't have an STI, you can pass bacteria. So an STI is a sexually transmitted infection. So even if you don't have that, the bacteria in your body can be passed through anal sex. Anal sex works best when you are comfortable, when you're relaxed, when you feel like you're both in it and you're patient. Because again, if you're uncomfortable, you don't want to try to jam something up in that area and it's not something that you're ready for. So making sure that you're communicating and making sure that your partnership is open and you're able to communicate when something feels good versus doesn't feel good. You know, so one big question is, does anal sex hurt? The answer is yes, and the answer is no. So if it's your first time and you haven't done it, it's just like your first time having vaginal sex. It will hurt. It's uncomfortable. It's not something your body is used to. But over time, with practice and with adjustments and making sure that you are lubricated and making sure that you're comfortable and relaxed, it can transition from pain to pleasure. And did you know, if you go back to my post on sex in the brain, the pain and pleasure sensory parts of our body are in the same place. So we perceive it from the same place, but we experience it in different ways. So something that could hurt could also feel really freaking good. So let's say it's something that you're interested in and you just don't know how to start. They have, again, Amazon. I'm not plugging Amazon, but you can find anything on Amazon, or go to your local sex stores. I mean, they have them everywhere. You can go take a shop and go talk to someone who works there who can help you find something that works best for you. So they have graduating sizes of butt plugs, and when you can go, like, you can start with something small just to kind of get used to it. And there are people that wear butt plugs, you know, throughout the day. So it's like, you can do it at home, you can do it all day, it's whatever, again, you're comfortable with. The thing to understand, though, is that when you are stretching a part of your body that perhaps isn't used to being stretched, that you could notice bleeding. And if you see that you're bleeding, especially if it's continued bleeding, stop. So if you see bleeding, stop, because there's something that's torn and it needs to heal. So if there is continued bleeding, you need to go see your doctor. So don't think lightly of it. Go see your doctor. Anal sex can also bring on a couple of other things that may or may not be as easy to talk about. So when you defecate after anal sex, it can be uncomfortable, but I promise you there's no truth to the rumors that say that if you have anal sex that you will stretch yourself to the point where you can't hold your bowels anymore. No. After anal sex, there might be more of a sense of urgency because you put pressure in that area, but there's nothing from anal sex that's going to prevents you from having regular bowel movements. There is the possibility that you will expel fecal matter during anal sex. Now, if this is something that is a concern of yours, then you can try using an enema after you've taken a bowel movement and you try to clean the lower abdominals and rectum. You'll be able to clear out as much of the remaining fecal matter that is there. But it's truly not a big deal. All you have to do is make sure that you clean up after yourself, and you clean, he's clean, she's clean, they're clean, that you are putting yourself in a position where you're not creating a place where you could transfer bacteria. I can't control what you do, but I can suggest and recommend highly that if you do engage in anal sex, that it's the finale, because you don't want to go from anal to vaginal. I had a joke from a decade ago about back door to front door. You don't want to go back door, front door. You want to go front door, back door, or back door, go clean your stuff off, and then go clean your stuff off well, and then go to vaginal sex. Because again, you can spread bacteria, and that goes for oral sex too. You don't want to, and again, you're into what you're into, but from a health perspective, you do not want to go from anal to oral or vaginal. So, anal sex can lead to an orgasm. So the anus, just like your nipples, just like your vagina, just like your penis, is an erogenous zone. There are a lot of nerve endings in that area, and when you stimulate those, things can happen. It can feel really good. I will say though, just like with vaginal sex, stimulating the clitoris for women is a great way to help encourage the orgasm for anal sex. And stimulating the clitoris is a great way to make sure that you are comfortable and relaxing in the moment and not focusing just on the anal. The person that's doing the penetrating also has really good sexual stimulation, because the anus tends to be tighter than the vagina, especially a vagina that is experienced. So that anal is a little tighter, so that person that is doing that insertive partner is getting a sensation from it as well. And I preface this next part, but I'm very serious. Anal stimulation can be enjoyable for straight men. It's not something that you need to think about as a gay act. It's not. The being gay means being attracted to the same sex as you are. So if you are having opposite sex partner sex with somebody, then it's not gay. What you're doing is trying to stimulate your prostate. So your prostate, or your P spot, which is, the women have G spots, men have P spots. The prostate is a very small muscular gland that produces seminal fluid and found in the ejaculate, and it helps to propel semen from the penis, and is also surrounded by a lot of different nerve endings, right? So prostate stimulation can feel good. It doesn't mean you're gay. So just think that there are a lot of ways to do it. So the prostate, and I don't know what this 2 inches thing is, but whereas the G spot is about 2 inches inside the vaginal canal, the prostate is about 2 inches inside the anal canal, inside the rectum. and it's located somewhere between the rectum and the penis. And so if it can be stimulated in a way that's comfortable for you, so it can be stimulated directly through the anus, which some people are comfortable with, others are not, or it can be stimulated through the perineum, or the taint is the common word for it. It does take practice to find the P spot. It does take time to be comfortable with the stimulation in that area. But if you're willing to take the time to do it, it can feel good. It can be a very sexually satisfying and create explosive orgasms. It can. Just keep that in mind, okay? So anal sex can be something that is fun and exciting and introduce something that is perhaps different. You could be a anal connoisseur and just be like ready to get it in. Sorry about that. It could be that this is something that you're well versed in. But if you're not, try it if you're comfortable, if it's something that you're interested in. But keep in mind that if you try it and you don't like it, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. People try things all the time and they like it, don't like it, and if you don't like it, you move on to the next thing. Just never be afraid to explore new ways to enjoy your partner. So, I am Shanae Jones. This is KNKY. I appreciate you watching these videos, and if there's ever anything that you particularly want me to talk about, please feel free to send me a DM. And don't forget, I am your resident certified sex coach, so if there's any questions, concerns, or anything that you want to talk about, feel free to DM me and I will send you the details on how we can work together to create a plan to make you your best sexual self. Thank you so much, and I will see you again very soon.